What up, YouTube? How we doing? Bro? It has been too long since I've made a video, like way too long. I think the last time I uploaded was like 3 weeks ago, bro, and for that I gotta apologize, y'all. I really am sorry. I have been live streaming, I can admit that. I've definitely been live streaming a lot, but the videos have not been coming out, and that I need to apologize, you guys. I am sorry. But there's been a lot going on in my life, and I do have a very big video that I've been working on a lot recently, which was actually supposed to come out today, but I decided to hold off on that just for personal reasons, as the story that I kind of talked about in that video was very recent, and there's still some developing aspects to it that I want to keep adding as they go along, if that makes any sense. So I'm kind of holding off on that one, putting it on the back burner for now, just waiting until it's fully finalized, the story, so I can tell it. But it's definitely coming. Right now it's about an hour long, so it's a very long story time video. It's a good one. I promise it'll be worth the wait. But in the meantime, I thought I'd bang out a couple quick ones just so you guys wouldn't be left with no content from me, because your boy gotta provide, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, before we start the video, I do have one other thing to announce. We're gonna be doing a giveaway, or I don't know, I said we, it's just me, but I'm gonna be doing a giveaway. As I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a blue snowball microphone. It's a USB mic. I'm sure you've heard of them. It's a great company. It's actually the microphone I started this channel with. I won't be giving away that one, however. I'll be giving away a brand new one to one of you lucky guys, because that one is a little bit sentimental to me, and I'm not gonna give away old used microphone that's like 6 years old. I'll give you guys a new one, don't worry. But yeah, so once I hit 100 subs, I'm gonna post a video on this channel on how to enter. Basically, all you'll need to do is just like, comment, and show you're subscribed, and comment a way that I can get in touch with you if you win. And I think how I'll be selecting a winner is just using one of those like websites where you can enter all the usernames and it randomly selects one, and I'll do it on live stream so you guys can see that it's, you know, a real random thing. But yeah, that's about it for the announcements. Without further ado, we'll hop into the video. So today's video takes place back in 2019, right? I think it was 2019, right? It was either 2019 or like 2020 era, right? So like right when I was kind of, I think, about to get out of high school, probably near the end of my high school time, right? And at this point in my life, bro, I was selling weed like crazy. Like I don't know how many of you guys were active in that time in the weed community, bro, but back in that time, bro, if you had one of those golden Snapchat accounts, dude, you could make so much money off that shit. Like, I'm talking stupid money off the Snapchat accounts, bro. This is back when Snapchat didn't give a fuck, dude. Like, this is before the great ban waves and all that shit happened. Like, bro, I'm talking, this Snapchat account I had, bro, was fucking golden. Like, I'm telling you, every single day I was waking up to like 3 QP plays, like a half-pound play here, like, you know, just money just waiting on the fucking phone for me to go get it. You know what I mean? And bro, when that Snapchat got deleted, I'm telling you, bro, I was crying some fucking tears, boys, let me tell you. But this was long before that shit happened. So when this took place, my Snapchat and the Snapchat trap days, bro, they were still going hard. So that's actually how this story kind of happened, right? So if I remember correctly, it was around 2019, right? I was trapping off of Snapchat. I was selling a bunch of, you know, goodies, mainly just weed and edibles and like mushrooms and acid at the time. I wasn't really pushing anything else at this point. This was back when I was still, you know, relatively young. So I was mainly just selling, you know, psychs and weed. But mainly how I'd get customers is I, you know, meet them through high school, meet them through friends, you know, go to concerts, shit like that. And then I would also do this stupid thing, which I do not recommend you do, which is adding people up and asking them if they want to buy drugs. And I mean literally complete strangers, bro. Like I was pretty ballsy with this shit, and I'm honestly surprised that what happened in this video didn't happen more often or become more serious, and we'll get to that. But basically how I would sell is I would just add people up. If they seem trustworthy, I'd look through their accounts, you know what I mean? I could kind of tell who's a real person, who's a fed, you know. And back then, bro, the feds weren't really on Snapchat like that, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't as big of a thing as it was now, you know what I mean? Like, now everyone knows what Snapchat is and what it does, but like, dude, back then it wasn't as like known, I guess, to the police and shit, at least in my area. I don't know, it's probably different in the city and shit like that, but where I'm from, it wasn't as well known, you know? So, dude, it was pretty easy for me to tell who was who, you know? I'd send him a message, I'd get him as a clientele, and the next thing you know, we're selling to him, right? So that's kind of how this started going, right? I got this friend request from this guy, right? And I think his name was Brian on Snapchat. And it was early in the morning, I remember that, bro. It was summertime, so it was either summer or I'd already dropped out. I don't remember, bro, but it was one of the two. I wasn't in school at the time, I remember that. And I'm pretty sure it was summer because I remember it was mad hot out this day, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it was probably summertime. And so at this point, I think I already had a license and everything. Yeah, I must have, because there's no way I must have already had my license and shit. But anyway, early in the morning, I get this little Snapchat notification. Boom, I go to check it, and this little kid named Brian added me up, right? And I go to look at Brian's profile, and I'm gonna be honest, bro, his Snap score was pretty low now that I'm looking back and thinking about it. Like, his Snap score was probably like to the point where he just made that account that month to that week, you know? Like, if you don't know, your Snap score goes up the more messages you send, right? So like, if you have a brand new account, you're gonna have a super low Snap score. So that was one of the ways that I would kind of tell who's sketchy and who isn't. And then the other way I'd tell is like, I'd look through stories and things like that to see, like, before messaging, who's a normal person, you know? And this kid never uploaded to his story, right? And so I ended up adding him back and just kind of forgetting about him because he never said anything to me. And so like, fast forward like a week later, I would always post my menu on my story like an idiot, like literally just showing off all of what I was selling, like a dumbass, you know what I mean? I noticed that he would view those stories a lot, right, on my Snapchat, and like, you know, would watch all those stories because it would show you who'd view the stories. So after a couple times of that happening, bro, I think I just ended up texting him and being like, hey man, do you smoke? And I think after a few minutes, bro, I get a message back from the guy, and he's like, yeah, I do smoke. Do you know where I can get some good bud? I just moved to the area. And this should have been red flag number 2, bro. Like, this is kind of an obvious red flag. It's like the whole situation is just sketchy, right? But it gets even worse, right? So I end up telling this kid that yes, I do sell, and he asked me if he can buy an eighth of weed, right? Which that is literally like such a small amount. At the time, I was selling a lot more than that usually, but if it was like a first customer, you know what I mean? Like if they're just trying to test some shit out, yeah, I would sell them just the eighth if they came to me, you know what I mean? But I'm not driving to drop that shit off. So I would always meet people at this park, right? Because I would always be there hanging out with people, and just like, you know, I'd park my car up there, we'd weigh out weed, we'd smoke there, and there was like, you know, picnic tables. It was this nice area, bro, and I would always meet people there. And the nice thing about that park is you could always see who was coming up the hill. So like if the cops were ever coming, you'd see them well before they'd see you, and it was a mad nice spot, bro. If I still lived in the area, I'd still hang out there. But yeah, so I would always meet people there, right? And so I text this kid, and I'm like, yo man, you want to meet up here, like blah blah blah. And he texts me, he's like, oh yeah, I'm coming from like an hour and a half away though, so give me some time. And this should have been another red flag, bro. I'm not gonna lie, this should have been another red flag. Why the fuck are you driving an hour and a half to buy like a fucking eighth? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But yet again, dumbass me just kept letting it slide, you know what I mean? And so I wait for this kid to show up, and I'm sitting in the parking lot, bro, and all of a sudden this car pulls in with this older dude in it, bro. Like, I'm talking, he was probably like 26, 27, right? Like, but looked still young enough, you know what I mean, to where I could tell this was the guy I was supposed to meet, right? But what was weird is the car he showed up in was like brand new, like very clean, had like, something was up with the tags on it too, if I remember. Like it was like a rental car, like dealership tags or some shit, bro. Like something about this was sketchy, right? And so long story short, I meet up with him, boom, boom, boom. He doesn't really talk much. I just walk up to his window, I hand him the eighth, he hands me like $25, and I say, you know, have fun with that, enjoy it, if you need any more, just text me, blah, 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 whatever, you know, the classic dealer, you know, interaction. I dap him up, walk away, and he drives off, and we don't really think anything of it, you know what I mean? And now, fast forward later to that night, right, I get a text from the dude, and he's like, yo, this shit is fire weed, I'm gonna have to cop some more. And at this point, I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. I got another clientele on my list. Business is booming. Like, shit's going good for me, you know? And I was pretty fucking hyped, bro. Because at this time, I was clearing probably like 2-3 grand a fucking day almost off weed. I'm not talking profit, probably full gross income. But like, you know, at 17, 16 years old, that's pretty good money, bro. Like, I'm not going to lie. Especially when you dropped out and like, you know, don't really have much going for you. That's good money, dude. So I was pretty hyped, you know, I was feeling myself. And he texts me and he's like, hey man, do you want to meet up again tomorrow? This time I'd like to buy a whole ounce. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. The 8th was just a test. Like, he normally buys big amounts. Hell yeah, let's add him to the custody list, bro. Hell yeah, new clientele, you know what I'm saying? And so I tell him, yeah, bro, let's just meet up at the same spot tomorrow. You want an ounce of the same stuff? Here's the price. It's probably like, you know, $140, $120, some shit like that. I sold my weed for pretty reasonable prices. And long story short, you know, I go meet up with him again that day, and I go and I dap him up. I hand him the weed, same old, not much talking. He hands me the money and he peels off, and it was the same rental car he was in before, same spot, literally just like deja vu from the day before, you know what I mean? And so I go home thinking again, you know, hell yeah, we got another custody type shit, like hell yeah, bro. And so I think a day or two went by, right? It wasn't the same night, but it was like literally the next day or the day after that, right? I get another text from this dude, right? And what I found interesting is this guy would always save our messages in Snapchat, right? Which back then, like if you sent a text and then like swiped out of it, I think it was just gone, you know? But this guy would purposely save them, so they would be like, and that was sketching me out, right? And so this dude, bro, he hits me up for £1, bro. He's straight up like, yo, can you get me £1 of that stuff? Like, I really liked it. I'm just trying to stock up all at once. And this is where the gears in my head started clicking a little bit, right? Like, at first I thought, you know, maybe this kid's trying to rob me, like set me up or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows, bro? Like, normally people don't go from an eighth to an ounce to £1. You know what I mean? That's a pretty drastic jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even the 2 zips, the quap, like the ½ pound, like nothing, bro. Like, straight to the pound, you know? Like, I mean, obviously I can get him that, but like, I was a little suspect, you know? So I texted him back and I was like, you know, yeah, I can get it for you, but what do you need that for? Like, do you sell yourself or what? And he told me, he's like, yeah, man, like I'm trying to start selling up in my area. Like, I'm far away from you, so it's different clientele. We don't have this nice weed up there. And, you know, it kind of fooled me. So I'm like, yeah, bro, I could totally get you £1. Let me just, you know, it'll probably cost me like, you know, $1,400, $1,200, you know, just I think I charged him like $1,600. You know, I probably told him that. And so he's like, bet. I can get that money together. Do you want to meet up? I think it was the next day even. I think he was like, do you want to meet up tomorrow? And again, in my head, I'm like, okay, this is a little sketchy. Like, does he just have this money laying around? Like, that's a lot of cash to just come up with. Like, normally the bank only lets you take out a certain amount from the ATM. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, now the gears are kind of turning in my head. So I go and I meet up with him again for the 3rd time in the same exact spot, right? And I hand him the stuff. I hand him the £1, right? And this time I got in his car because I was like, I want to talk to this dude a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just going to like hand him off this big ass pound of weed and then just like dip. You know, I want to know who this dude is a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I got in the car and I'm talking with him, and like, he seemed normal, but just like a little bit too normal, bro. Like, I'm looking at his face, like he's too clean cut. Like, something about this dude just like gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like, you know when you can tell you're talking to a police officer almost? Like, they have that almost like authoritarian aura around them. Like, they've got that clean shaven look, like the no dirt on their fingernails, clean shoes. Like, I don't know what it is, but somehow in my head I'm looking at this guy and I'm just starting to think that. I'm like, this guy might be a Fed. Like, something in my head clicked. I don't know what it was, but something in my head just told me, like, yo, this guy is not who he's saying he is. And so I sold him the £1 and he hands me the money, and I'm looking at his money, bro, and I'm noticing that, like, all the money is like perfectly the same, right? Like, it's super clean. Like, this shit just came out of like a bank or something, bro. And so I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, he just pulled it out of an ATM, right? So I put it away. I get back in my car, dap him up. I go home, right? I'm looking at the money later that night, right? And I'm starting to notice that, like, all the serial numbers on the money, right? They had like the first, it wasn't like they were one digit after another, right? But the first digit of the third, like the if you go from like the first digit over to the third, that would be in order. Like one, like I'm talking like 1 2 3 4 5 6. Like I don't know how many digits money has, but on the the 1/3 to last, right? That one would be counting up on the money that he handed me, if that makes any sense. And either I was just tripping and I was misreading it, but that really tripped me out, right? So I'm looking at this money, and now I'm kind of putting this all together in my head, and I'm like, bro, this guy has to be a Fed. Like, at this point, I'm sketched out, and I'm not really wanting to sell to this guy anymore. You know what I mean? Like, because I have plenty of other people buying pounds off me at that point, you know? Like, I didn't need this guy, but at the same point, like, you know, if he's not a Fed, that's good business, you know? But when you're a dealer, bro, in that illegal environment, you just can't be taking risks like that, you know? You risk it for the biscuit. And so it comes to the last time that we interacted, right? The last time we interacted was 2 days after I sold him. Actually, I think it was like half a week. He gave it a little bit more time. I'll give him that. It wasn't like 2 days. I think it was like 4 or 5 days, right? He gave me like 4 or 5 days, and then he texts me again on Snapchat, again saving the message, and he's like, yo, bro, can I buy a 10-pack off you? And for those of you that don't know, a 10-pack is 10 pounds of weed, right? That's a lot of weed, bro. Like, I'm talking, that was basically my re-up at the time. Like, I wasn't moving more than like 5-10 pounds every 2 weeks, you know what I mean? So like, that's basically my re-up. So now I'm kind of thinking in my head, I'm like, there's no way this dude is selling as much as I am already, like 4 days into selling, unless he's like Pablo Escobar, like who knows? But like at the same time, I'm not stupid. I'm not risking this. So after he texted me that, I'm not gonna lie, bro, I just completely blocked him, deleted his contact, just fucking nuked my Snapchat, like deleted everything. And the thing is, my Snapchat didn't have anything to do with myself. Like, I didn't use my real name on there. There was no photos of me. Like, I did do that somewhat smart, right? And so I completely nuked that account, right? And I was not gonna lie, bro, I was a little paranoid there for a little bit, that my house is gonna get raided, like something was gonna happen, I was gonna get pulled over. Like, for the next week or two, I was moving very paranoid after that, right? Because I was just waiting for the moment that guy was gonna like flip on me, or, you know, do some police shit, you know? But it never came, you know? It never came, and honestly, I forgot about it, right? I completely forgot about this story until like 2 or 3 years after all that happened, right? I was going through Facebook late at night, and at this point, I think it was honestly probably like 4 or 5 years later, right? Because this was what, 2019. So I was in South Carolina at the time I found this out, so probably 2023, I want to say. So like 3-4 years later, after this happened, I'm going through Facebook. Somehow I stumble upon the town that he was in, right? Like I'm not going to say the name of it because it's a really small area. I stumble across like the scanner page for the town he's in, right? For those of you that don't know, like a scanner page on Facebook is just like people that listen to the police radio and like will tell you what's going on in the area. It's like a bunch of, I don't know, it basically tells you what 911's doing at that time, right, in your area. But I somehow was stoned as fuck looking through this, and I'm looking through the group, and all of a sudden I see a familiar face, right? And it's in a photo of the entire police department, like I don't know, like a memorial, or not a memorial, but like a acknowledgement post about the police department for that town. And one of the faces looks so familiar, bro, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And so I zoom in on the face, bro, and it was the same motherfucker that I was selling weed to all those years ago, bro, that asked for the 10-pack, that I sold the fucking pound to. It was the same dude, bro. He worked for the fucking police department. And at that point, he was probably, you know, a cadet or like an entry-level police officer or some shit, young as fuck, doing drug rips on the street for him. So he's probably trying to work his way up on me and bust me, see who my plug was, you know. But I played it smart, and I cut him off at that point, you know. And I think what he probably assumed is I couldn't get him that, because I think that's what I told him. I don't think I just blocked him. I think I told him, I was like, nah, man, I can't get that much. Like, I don't know anyone that can. Even though obviously I could, I didn't trust him, you know? Didn't trust him, man. I didn't trust him at all. He was definitely sketchy. But hey, Brian, if you're out there, man, if you're listening to this, police officer Brian, bro, hey, you tried, motherfucker. You ain't get me though, bitch. Nah. Hey, no hate, Brian, if you're out there. We was just playing the game. Bro. But Hey, we do it legally now. We all legal now, Brian. So you can rest assured I'm an upstanding citizen now, Brian. Anyway, y'all, that will be the video for today. I know it was kind of a last minute one. I'm not sure how the audio came out and all that, because this is a new microphone that I'm using and I'm still figuring out the settings, so hopefully it's not terrible sounding. If it is, I apologize. I will fix it next episode. But yeah, that'll probably be the end of the episode for today. If you made it all the way to the end, comment Balloons Tower Defense, because that was a fire ass game as a kid. I can't even lie. Hey, bro, before we dip out of here, though, let's take a little rip together for the homies that stay all the way through to the end of the video. Let's take a rip for them, bro. We'll take a little dabski. How about that? We'll take a little dabski, y'all. How about that? This one's for the homies that stay till the end of the video, y'all. Listen all the way through. This one's for those homies, bro. We'll do a special dab just for them. A special dab goes out to y'all that listen all the way through, man. I appreciate you guys who watch my videos, who watch my live streams, who subscribe to my channel, who love my content, bro. It means the fucking world to me. Like, straight up, bro. Even though my channel is very small, bro, it still means the world to me when I get, like, 4 viewers, you know what I mean? Like, that shit's epic, bro. 4 people took the time out of their day to watch what I'm doing. Anyway, y'all, cheers. Ooh. God damn. Ooh, that was a big ass dab. Fuck it, hey, that was a big ass dab. Anyway, y'all, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for supporting my content. It means the world to me. If you made it to the end of the video, comment Balloons Tower Defense. Catch me on my next video. Catch me on my live. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Peace.